but eventually we'll get something together. But, you know, the lead singer of the Cranberries died, and Prickly Rickley's going to do a little bit of a tribute to them. So I do believe... Let me see. Let me call him back. He's having problems with his Skype, so... What the fuck kind of show is this? I can't blame anybody but myself. This fucking show. But I'm going to give those guys a minute. You can't hear it ringing. I have that part turned off, so it's really annoying. Come on, DT. Give me I got a whammy. I'm going to hang up, and I'm going to let him call in. But hopefully I'm not overmodulating. I had a mic blow up like 2 weeks ago. It like works, but it don't work, and everything's kind of been fucked up since then. I don't know if it damaged something on my board, but if anybody knows anybody with a DAT player that can separate a whole shitload of tracks for me, me and Sean want to redo that CD and remix it. So, or we're gonna have to buy one. I can't even remember what platform we used, if it was Pro Tools or not. We did that at their studios in New York. Hopefully they got better equipment by now. But I'm going to play some music by Lion's Share and more Aisle 9, Swirl, and Terra Universal. Ricky, where I was going with the Cranberries lady, I guess, you know, she was having some problems as well, so he's going to go into that. Tyler Bates is out of Manson for the time being. He's got movie scores to do, so I guess he was talking shit about Johnny Depp playing in the band. I don't know. I think they're touching each other's pee-pees. But Eric Rogers and My Therapy went into the studio this week, sent me pictures and a clip and everything, and love the support, those guys, and love for them and the love back. It's just incredible. I can't wait to put that on the CD and have you guys hear a brand new My Therapy track. There's a couple of bands that are putting exclusives on here. There's going to be no other place to get it. I know I've been talking about it, but, you know, that's what I got to do, man. I got to promote these guys. I got to get shit out there. So, and that's part of my job. All right. I think we got some DT is calling me on Facebook Messenger. Hey, brother, you there? Oh, my God. This is a nightmare. Let me call him back. G-Stone Show. You got to leave the drama for your mama.
Hello.
Is this DT from the band Swirl?
Hey, what's going on, man? How are you, Jay?
Good. How are you, man? It's been a long fucking time. Sorry, man, about the technical problems. I'm wrapped in wires here and shit. But how are you guys, man? It's been...
I'm not even sure it's you, man. I'm screaming at my phone like I've granted all the permissions necessary, and it's not going through. So, whatever, man. We did it now. That's all that matters.
Yeah, that's all that matters, man. That's all that matters. So, yeah, I'm excited. You guys got new music. I don't even know how long it's been. When was that Stephen Pearcy tour? That was the last time I saw you guys.
Oh my God, that was like our first tour. So, geez, that's been a while. I mean, this coming up this year is the 10 year anniversary of the band. So, yeah,
wow,
it's been a minute.
Congratulations, man. That, you know, and you guys are still all the original members, right?
And I just started to say that's the thing I'm most proud of. I mean, it's 10 years of us doing this, and it's the same four guys. We're still committed. So we're either committed or crazy, I guess. You know, somebody else will let us know that.
Yeah, no doubt. No, that's very rare, man. I mean, it's hard to maintain that, and you guys seem to have that chemistry. I mean, I know your brothers in the band and the two other guys, so, well, I mean... It doesn't make it
absolutely. I mean, you know, like we had the rehearsal last night. Everybody's all in, man. Everybody's excited about, you know, the great 2017 we had. Is really excited about, you know, the plans for 2018. I mean, we spent most of last year promoting that Ditch Day film that we have the 3 songs in, and you know that thing is now out in 6 countries. So with that having happened, and now with the release of our new song, The Lift, and how well that's being received, we're already on the phone with agents and trying to set up dates, not just in the U.S., so of course that means we're getting back out to Florida, but, you know, in every country, in every territory that the film is out. So, you know, it's looking like it's going to be a very, very busy year for us, and we kick it off with live shows Saturday, February 3rd, first Saturday in February at the Whiskey in Hollywood.
Nice. So, on that first album you guys didn't you work with the guy from Cinderella, if I remember correctly?
Well, yeah, 2 of the songs on that album were actually that EP, I guess, because some people get all technical about things.
Yeah.
2 of the songs on there, Time to Fly and Mad Disease, were actually co-written by Fred Corey, the drummer from Cinderella, who actually produced and mixed the disc for us, produced and mixed those songs for us, and then we added them to the batch of songs that we recorded on our own after the sessions with Fred. And interestingly enough, we had been in the studio with Carlos Cavazzo from, he's with Rat now, but Quiet Riot, obviously.
Right.
And we had been in the studio with Fred and learned a lot from those experiences, took those experiences into the studio to, record a 5-song EP, and then the film comes along, and we opened up the whole catalog of songs, and they chose the ones we recorded on our own. So it's kind of a validating moment for us in terms of, learning how to write songs, how to record, how to mix, just basically stepping things up to the next level.
Gotcha. So how many releases since then, man? That was a pretty good tour with Stephen Pearcy. So how many releases have you guys done since then?
Well, we were actually on, God, what was that? That was the Timeline disc. And then we came off of that tour. We had done we were with Pearcy and then the Bullet Boys twice, and then Rat and Extreme, and then out with George Lynch's band. We did all of that and then went into the studio and recorded a disc. And so I got my discography mixed up. So after we did all that touring, then we recorded the disc, and that's where we used the songs from Fred and the other stuff. So, we've had the Swirl, self-titled Swirl EP released since we met. And that's the one we've had, all the movie success with licensing and all that good garbage.
Right. I hear you. It's weird because I was at my friend's record store the other day. Sometimes I broadcast live from there, and they're going to be the exclusive retailer for that compilation CD they have coming out.
We got to talk about that too.
Yeah, well, I'm gonna get you guys to the next. It was so overwhelming, dude. I didn't even think that. I thought it was gonna take me a month to fill the spots, and it happened in like 3 hours. It was like incredible.
I started to say, man, a month, nothing. That thing I bet filled up real quick.
Yeah. So we got some good lineup on there, but then I promise you, the next one's gonna be just as good, and you'll be there with it. But I was at the record store. And I met this guy that worked at the local radio station. He's worked, with bands and stuff. He's worked pretty much with everybody. Cheap Trick. But it came up, and I brought you guys up because you were on tour with Stephen Pearcy. And I remember when I met you at the club down the block from here, which that place is closed down since. But unfortunately,
I was just about to ask. Okay.
Yeah, just problems with capacity. Snoop Dogg was going to play there, and the county didn't like it, so they sent the fire marshals in and shit, and tried to change the capacity and make them change all sorts of shit. So he was like, "I'm just shutting it down." Someone tried to revive it, but it didn't survive. But anyway, so they were going to kick me out of the club because I was waiting for you guys, and that's when Stephen Pearcy was like, "Hey, man, that guy's with us. Don't throw him." And I just thought that was so cool. The guy carried his own stuff in it. He seemed very humble. And, a lot of these guys get a lot of shit, and I see a lot of bad things said about the guys in rap. But I have to say, from my experience, every time with him was always a great one. So, and especially from that point forward.
My thing about it is that is a genuine, true representation of Stephen Pearcy.
I believe that.
Anyone who comes along and has anything to say otherwise, I immediately go, "You don't know him." That's what it boils down to. Given what he's had for a career and the number of people that have come at him, and everybody wants something and this, that, and the other. Mm-hmm. Sure, he's probably a little guarded at times, but if you're genuine with him, he's going to show you who he really is. And like I said, that was our first tour. We had some pretty horrendous conditions, but you don't bitch about them. They are what they are when you're trying to get started with this whole thing. And we were doing a winter tour with no hotels, no meals, whatever, as a part of the agreement. And we were out on the road, and you know how many you don't know how many times in the Midwest Steven bought the band hotel room and said, "Here, you guys are not staying out in a van with the gear and the engine running and the heater on all night long. There's just no way. It's not cool. So here, and you guys all climb in a room or something like that, or just stuff like that. He's the real deal. I love that guy.
Yeah, because even this guy that worked at the radio station, I love talking to people at it in the industry because you get to hear, the real details and not just a fan encounter, oh, he was a dick, I went up to him at the airport. The guy might have something on his mind. You don't know what he's going through that day. But he even said that, he took the crews out to dinner. He took them to, when they went out to after parties and shit and gave them VIP. So to me, I hear a lot of stories, and I have to say he's one of the nicest guys that I've talked to. So, but anyway,
simply put, if you don't get along with Steven, my question is, what did you do?
Right,
because it wasn't him.
I hear you. Now, if you said you didn't get along with Sebastian Bach, I could see that because it's hard to be in the same room with him for more than a couple of hours, I guess. But this is about you guys, so. Okay. He's always in that 100 mile an hour. That's a little rough to be around, but
20. He lives in that world 24/7. But you know what? It's been successful for him. So
oh
you
yeah,
really can't take anything away from him.
Yeah. No, you can't. I love the guy to death, man. I love him. I love imitating him and shit. It's great. But tell me about the new song you sent to me.
Well, here's the thing. It was a great situation for us. We got ready to record and met through the producer of Ditch Day, the owner of Granite Records out in Orange County, California. We met with him, and he wasn't the first person to approach us about doing any kind of a crowdfunding campaign. But for some reason, it just kind of connected when we all talked. And so he actually got us to do a GoFundMe page, which other people had mentioned before. And, I'm a little old school in as much as I'm like, look, if the band is good enough, when it's done enough, then there's a record company that comes along, signs the band, pays for the recordings, and, then you go off and go from there. But, there's no record companies anymore, at least not in the way that it was, in the Rat era, since we were talking about Steven.
Yeah, so, no, it's nothing. It'll never be the same, bro. It'll never ever be the same. I mean,
and you know what? It doesn't have to be. I mean, I was really kind of resistant to it, but I said, okay, well, we'll go ahead and do it, and we'll see what happens. Had very little to no expectations, and within 48 hours, the Swirl Society, which is our fan base, ever growing, had donated enough money to have us go in and record a song.
Yeah, that's awesome when you can get that kind of support, because not many people will be able to get that support,
Well, and it's kind of the thing is we told the fan base, look, you guys are our record company. I mean, how many songs, how quickly we get them recorded, how fast we get the videos out and tour and all that is going to be based on how interested you are in what we do. And so it kind of put a little pressure on us to make sure, obviously, that the first song,
of course,
you do it anyway when you're a writer, but, that first song, you got to hit a home run out of the gate. Now, that having been said, we had no idea this particular song was going to be as well received as it is. We finished, I think we put up the GoFundMe account on October 14th, and then we waited a couple weeks to get in the studio. We were only in there for a couple days, and then we mixed the song. We released it to radio early December. And I woke up Christmas morning to find out that it was number 4 on internet radio in Australia.
Nice.
And then it finished the first week of 2018 as number 1 here in the U.S. and the Midwest. And
that's
so
awesome.
We released a lyric video, and it's just, programs like yours are grabbing the song and playing it, and people are just digging this new song called The Lift. which, is a very personal song for Al.